Hi everyone, I am G1 Writer and this is our love segments for I love my spouse, but girl, let me tell you, okay? Well, no, it's seriously, okay, it's called I love my spouse, but, okay? That's how we present that. All right. So I created I love my spouse because, there was a period in my life where I felt like, hey, I need some friends that are married, happily married, content with themselves, that don't really need any validation. Or, sometimes when you go through certain hurdles in your marriage or in your relationship, you need a friend. And not just any friend, you need someone that you can relate to, someone who gets it, they understand your pain, not someone who just want to be judgmental or critical or just kind of tell you whatever. No, you need someone that can give you legit solid advice. And that is why I created I Love My Spouse But in 2019. When I created I Love My Spouse But, I actually ended up creating a fan page on Facebook, and it actually got over 500 likes and followers, right? So I decided, hey, well, what if I take it to other platforms like YouTube or Instagram, right? However, we're in 2021 now, so you can only imagine just how much more things that I have to share with you, okay? In the process of me doing this journey, we have gotten more comments and likes and ideas and stuff from other people, like men, quote unquote. Because like I said, originally I was looking for other women to become friends with who understood what I was going through or things that I needed to express. But then some men was like, hold up, what about us? What about what we feel? It ain't, I understand what you're saying, but shit, we go through shit too. We need love too. We need attention too. Okay? Yeah. They started firing back. So I decided to say, hey, why not? Let's just open the floor for all of the lovers. Not just people who are married, but for people who are coupled up, engaged. There could be some people who could be going through a divorce or who could be thinking about a divorce. And I feel like, it's true. Everyone has these moments where they go through things, and not just in marriage, but even in love. And, maybe you want to get married, but feel like, hey, I haven't really found the right person. Every time I think I found the right person, this person does this. And, now I got to start all over again. And I'm just really not in the mood to be dating right now because it seems like everybody just keep feeding me bull crap, right? So maybe you're in one of those categories. Maybe you're married or divorced, or maybe you're thinking about getting married. Maybe you're coupled up. Hey, shit, you could possibly even be single. Okay, and just dating. So this segment is segment 1. Okay, so welcome. For those of you who do not follow my YouTube channel, or for those of you who do not know me, I am a tarot reader. I am also now a specialized relationship coach. Okay, that means yes, I can counsel, but I don't want to do that just as yet. But I can counsel if I want. Okay, I have done some videos about relationships and about love-hate relationships and all those things. I've done that in 2019. So now this is kind of like a refresher. Okay, so today's segment is I love my spouse, but the title is what is marriage? Seriously, like, can we think about it for a second? What does marriage mean to you? Okay, so let's look at the definition and the professional aspects of it all, okay? So, definition, okay? Marriage is a legally, socially, and sanctioned union, usually between a man and a woman. But of course, where we are in most countries like the United States, we have grown to embrace people in their choices about who they would like to marry, okay? Now, a marriage, not only is it, a union, but it is also regulated by laws, okay, rules, customs, okay? Marriage is based on a lot of beliefs and attitudes as well. So for a lot of you out there who says, but what's the difference between being in a relationship for 10 years and being married for 10 years? we live together, we do the same things, and it's deeper than that. We live in America, and America is so, the people in America has become so Americanized that I don't think a lot of people in America actually value what marriage is or what it represents. Okay, there is so many different forms of marriage out there, and we're talking about culture. Okay, we're talking about religion. Okay, for instance, in Islam, for example, okay, if your husband dies and you're a widow and you have children, his brother may marry you under certain conditions. It is allowed, and that is called an how you say it, an exogamy marriage, I think it's called. And then you have something called an endogamy. I think it's called endogamy. I think, guys, do some research, but I think it's called endogamy marriage, where you marry within your culture, or when you have to marry like your own race or your own within your own ethnic group, right? But then exogamy is where you marry like within your kinship. Okay, so it can be like if you're marrying someone like to help provide for you or to help you take care of the children. Okay, but then we here in America, we have traditional marriages, right? Like where people just get married for love and so forth, blah blah blah, right? Let's skip over that. But history has definitely shown us, okay, that marriage is not just for companionship, and it's not just romance, and it hasn't always been romance. Okay, romance has not always been the main topic. Okay, now I have some notes here to help me remember the things that I want to speak with you guys about. Okay, so bear with me if I keep looking down. All right, so the list goes on. You have marriage, marital rituals, you have fertility. Okay, for instance, if you are a part of, like, if you're Catholic, for example, you get married, they don't believe in abortion, so they'll say, hey, you two need to get married, because she should not have to raise that baby alone. You two need to get married. In Judaism, same thing. You two need to get married. We're not bringing that into our environment. Okay. In Judaism, though, marriage is very sacred. Marriage is, to believe is something that is arranged by God and not a third party or a family member. It's something that is arranged by God himself, or instituted by God, I guess you could say that, right? And it says, and it's to help you to complete another individual. All right. Now, it also says here, especially like in America, these are things that I wrote down, things that I know of, is that here in America, we are very big on like marriage ceremonies, and then after the ceremony, then we had the reception, and then the couple was supposed to like go away to like this grand vacation, and get to know each other, consecrate their marriage, have a lot of good amazing sex, all those type of things, right? All that stuff is fine and dandy. But here's my personal opinion. When all that is said and done, and you are respecting your religious beliefs, your cultural beliefs, and you're moving with the person now, and you guys settling, and you starting to like really feel each other vibes, there's a lot of key things that people leave out before they get married and even after they get married. Like, nobody tells you ever, oh, marriage is perfect. You never hear a couple say that. What you hear is, no matter what we go through, we maintain, we work it out, we fix it, we survive. That is what you hear when you are talking to a couple who has been married for at least 10 plus years. They tell you, hey, listen, I love this person right here because they know my ins, my outs. There's no perfection here. I don't have to try to be perfect. I can literally be myself, and I can fuck up 100 times and they will still have compassion towards me. They will still love me. So here is my personal opinion. Marriage, yes, it's a union when two people come together, but it's not just for beliefs or companionship to, it's to build each other up, to have a lifelong partner to breathe with, to cherish, to love, someone who is not just a lover, but a friend. And just like friends, you have your disagreements, But just like best friends, you make up. You make it work. Oh my God, I miss you. I'm sorry too. That is what marriage should be. It should not be where, oh, I'm sorry. Well, I don't give a fuck if you're sorry. That's not love. That's fucked up. Okay? So, like I said, just like best friends, you have your disagreements. Real best friends disagree. But they come together to work out their differences. And that is what marriage reminds me of. However, you always find a way to talk things out. And your differences should never get to the point where when you begin to hit below the belt, or it should never get to the point where you are intentionally hurting each other. It should never get to the point where you're allowing hatred to come in, or when you're allowing outside influences to ruin what you created or what you built. Marriage is like an empire. You have to build that thing. It doesn't happen overnight. That happiness, when you see older people or couples together and they're laughing and they're happy, it's not because their relationship is perfect. It's because they went through nights and many days building up that thing. It's not, this infatuation thing that comes with it. A lot of people just want to get married just because their friends have it, or because it just looks pretty. When you're walking down the aisle, you have this big, pretty, beautiful white dress with diamonds, and you're flourishing, and the makeup is perfect, and you're so right, and your groom is looking so delicious. You just want to eat him right now. Like, that's all fine. But what happens after that, from that day forward, is totally up to you and your spouse. Because all of that, and I can tell you that right now because my wedding was $25,000. And I've known people, and actually even heard of people who spent $60,000. But my wedding was $25,000. And I'm going to tell you, when it's all said and done, none of that shit matters. A fucking ring doesn't matter. The paperwork doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. Okay? So I'm telling you, if you are not in it for the long haul, just forget it. Just date. Like, there's nothing wrong with dating. Just date. Date a person. I know couples that have been together 10, 15 years and they're just couples. Like, they're just dating. That's just what they agree on. There's no marriage. There's no children. And hey, it's like, fuck it. I'm with you. You're with me. We just vibing. Right? And they're really comfortable with that. And then there's people like me that look at them like they're crazy because the hell, I'm not wasting 15 years of my life just to be like, your side piece or your chick. Like, that's not what I'm doing. Okay? So, yeah. But you believe it or not, there's a lot of couples out there like that. And they are content just the way things are. But back to what I said earlier, it's a legal, socially, and sanctioned union. That means, God forbid if something happens to your spouse, statute of limitations says, okay, you guys been together 10, 12 years. In some states, I think in New York, they do recognize this. Like, if you've been together for at least 10 plus years, they do actually recognize it as a marriage because you guys have, especially if you have children together, maybe you bought a house together, they do recognize it as a marriage. However, medically speaking, like, if something was to happen, okay, and you're the side bitch, I feel sorry for you. Because guess what? If something was to happen and that man's wife walk in, that man's wife has seniority over you. She gets to determine. It doesn't matter if they are together. It doesn't matter if they were separated. It doesn't matter if they had 3 fights a week. None of that crap matters. It is illegal, socially sanctioned union. That means I get to have say over what happens to my husband. Not the father, not the mother, not the sister, none of that. I am the wife and I'm running shit. That is the difference. So for all of you who want to know the difference, like, that's the difference. As a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you don't get to just walk up in the hospital and make demands. You don't. The family will naturally override you because you're just a boyfriend. But when you have a legal contract and you're saying, no, we had a deal. I take care of you, you take care of me. We're going to bond, we're going to be together. So if something happened, guess what? Yes, I get the house, I get the car, I get the money, I get all of that. That is the difference. Now, unless you're a side bitch and you have a kid, then the judge may be sympathetic and may give you like a little portion of the money every month. But overall, the wife succeeds. That's the difference, legally speaking. Okay? So, once again, back to my other point. If you are not in it for the long haul, the commitment, the legality of the situation, do not get married, okay? Just date. It's easier, and trust me, it saves you a headache. Do not do it, okay? If you can't seem to find yourself to be committed to just one person for more than 10 years, don't do it. Some of you might say, damn, 30 years is a long time. Why do you think marriages lasted so long back in the day? Because there was no such thing. Like, fuck that. You mad at me, I'm mad at you. You better go walk that shit off. Like, there was no such thing as, oh, we're getting a divorce or I'm breaking up or, this didn't work out. Like, no, they worked it out. Even if they were mad, they didn't go to bed mad. They talk out their issues. Even if he didn't come home or she didn't come home for a day, or if she decided to pack and leave with the kids, guess what? She just took off some time to take a breather, to calm down, to relax. And then it was like, okay, let's talk. There was no such thing. So I wrote down some things really quickly and I'll be done. It says, do not marry for looks. A lot of people are like, oh my God, she's so attractive. Oh my God, she's gorgeous. She got a banging little Coca-Cola body. She's amazing. But then you marry the bitch and then you go home and find out she can't cook, she can't clean. She doesn't support your dreams or your goals. She's not compassionate. She doesn't know how to emotionally connect with you. She doesn't want to work. She doesn't want to do anything with herself. And now you're mad. Or because you married her because she looks good and you think you're in competition with other men. So now you're marrying her just for her looks. Same thing for women. You guys cannot get married. You ladies cannot get married for looks. Okay? I met a lot of fine ass men in my life. Trust me. Okay? But I'm going to tell you one thing. Looks don't mean shit. You marry a man, he's beautiful. I mean, really beautiful, like physically, big, strong muscles, nice chest, he got money, he ain't worrying about nothing or nobody. And you think, oh, girl, I hit the jackpot, right? And then you marry him, and now he's beating the fuck out of you every day of your relationship. And now he controls you and tell you what to wear, how to behave, how you should act, what you should eat, when you can eat. Now he's beating on your children too. Do not marry just for looks. Do not marry just for fame. For what? You all in this selfie like, hey, Meanwhile, he's cheating on you with someone very close to you. Or maybe she's out sleeping with all of your friends. Yeah, don't marry for fame. For what? You can build fame and, be rich and successful by yourself. So do not marry for fame, okay? Do not marry for money. Oh, this is huge. Do not marry for money. That is huge. Because I used to hear, like back in the day, I used to hear a lot of people say this. Marry for money, love will come later. And in most cases, that can be true. Like in most cultures and religions, that is their belief. This person has money. They can take care of you and your children. But again, we stick with the fact of, it doesn't mean that this person will be kind. It doesn't mean that they will be understanding. It doesn't mean that they will love you and be a good, upstanding partner for you. So yeah, they have this great, fantastic job and they look really good and they're really known everywhere you guys go, but they treat you like crap. They degrade you in front of others. They act like they're disgusted by you. A man that loves you, honey, will show you off in a heartbeat, okay? Do not marry because you're lonely. Another big mistake I see. You got people that jump in one relationship, after that relationship, after that relationship. Give yourself some time to heal. Do not go from relationship to relationship to relationship. If you're lonely, God is always available, okay? Read a book. Go jogging. Okay? Go to the gym. I know many people that have made best friends in the gym. Like I said, you can date, but do not marry because you're lonely, because you feel like you have to have somebody there. Do not marry because this person brings you temporary satisfaction. Just because they have been making you happy for the past 6 months does not mean that they're going to make you happy for the next 6 years or the next 16 years. Do not marry for temporary satisfaction. You have to know if this person is genuine. And yes, people do change. I know people start off one way and then they change as they go along. Oh, I'm way too far familiar with that. I get it. Okay, what happens if, they've been this way for so long, it's been 2 years and they're still loving me down and treating me good, and then all of a sudden they just snapped. It happens to the best of us, I know. They just snap. Well, guess what? Now you have some choices to make, okay? Since you can't remember our vows and you can't, and I'm not a big supporter in divorce or abortions and all that crazy stuff. I'm very pro-marriage and pro-life, I'm a love bug. So I don't really believe in separation that much. But I also understand that domestic violence is real. I also understand that abuse is very real. On all platforms, it's very real. And if you are in a situation where you are consistently unsatisfied and this person has temporarily satisfied you, so now you done fell in love, you done got yourself caught up in this, and this goes either way, guys, because there's men out there that get abused too. Okay, this is not just for women. Okay, there are a lot of men out there who go through a lot of traumas as well, like alpha males, for example. Now this is my favorite one. Don't even marry for love. Okay? You have to know what you are marrying for. And it should be a combination of these things. It shouldn't be just for that one thing. It should be for a combination. Don't marry someone because they just make you look good everywhere you go, or because they're very popular, or maybe their family has money. That's all stupid reasons. I'm telling you now, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you are full of regret. So make sure that when you marry, you know your why. Why do you want to get married? What is the reason? Really sit back and process those thoughts, okay? Why am I getting married? Why do I want to get married? Why is marriage important to me? For example, I'll give you an example. When I wanted to get married, I already knew all my life practically that I wanted to get married because I was raised in a marriage household. My parents were married for 20-something years up until she passed away, of course, till my mom passed away. So I grew up that way. I grew up seeing, what the struggle is all about in marriage, or what marriage is all about, whether it's good or bad. You have your ups and downs, but you guys work it out. You love each other. It's consistent. I grew up around that. So for me, marriage was important. I needed that. I needed that connection because that's what was familiar to me. But not only that, I was very religious also at the time. I don't want to say religious, but I was very very conscious is what I would say. I was very conscious of my choices and what I wanted in a spouse. And it got to a point where I just didn't want to keep, giving my body to multiple people. I got to a point where I was objecting, no, I can date, but not everybody's going to have me, And I wanted somebody just for me. I wanted to find someone who I can connect with spiritually, emotionally. I wanted to know, hey, that you love my son. I wanted to know, okay, are we going to vibe? Can we go places? What is our plan? Are we going to be able to do big things together? I got tired of going from person to person, hoping for a particular result. I was engaged 3 times. Oh yeah. Okay. And none of those worked. And then I told myself, I can't keep allowing these type of men to get close to me when they themselves don't have a plan. You need a plan to date me. I need to know what's up. What's your status? What you about? I needed to know, do you have a plan? Before I allow you to come into my life and potentially ruin me, I need to know that you have a plan for us. I need to know that I matter to you. I needed to know. So my prayer was, in fact, I wrote it down, which is something else we'll talk about in another segment, but I wrote it down. I manifested my marriage because, like I said, I was so gung-ho on, okay, do your education, work on your financial goals. What do you want to accomplish? If you want to lose weight, start the process. And I started all of that. So my whole transition from going from being single to dating to being married, I literally accomplished about 5 things that I actually wanted to accomplish because I had a plan when I was getting married. I didn't just say, hey, fuck it, let's just get married. Oh my God, you're so cute, or you're handsome or whatever. No, I had a plan. I knew why I wanted to get married. Why do you want to get married? I wanted to keep myself sacred. I wanted to be able to come home to the same person every day. I got tired of the inconsistency. That's why I got married. Okay? I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't because of cuteness. It wasn't for the money. It wasn't for fame. It wasn't because I was lonely, because I definitely was. I had a lot of people I was dating, trust me. But I wasn't screwing everybody. Because like I said, I wanted to keep myself sacred and I wanted to be with this one particular person. And that was my goal. I said, God, please send me somebody that I can be with. And they are for me and I am for them. Teach us how to love each other. We were friends, And I honestly think I was in love with him more when we actually took it official. And then over the past years or so, I started to really see his love for me. So it was interesting, not saying that he didn't love me, but he started to fall deeper in love with me, which was one of my mistakes. I thought that men and women love the same, and they don't. But that leads me to my point. It takes a lot of wisdom and maturity to hold on to your marriage. And if you're not ready spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, or physically, do not marry. You need to just date. Oh, yeah. If it's not any of those things, just date. Don't waste nobody's time. Okay? If you know that you don't have yourself together on a spiritual level or physical level, but don't bring all your baggage and your problems and your insecurities onto someone else. Work on that shit before you marry someone. Just date. Figure yourself out. You got people that's 50 years old and still dating. Yeah, and not because they're necessarily the problem, but because of the reasons that I just listed. They want to be able to connect with people who are spiritually together, mentally together, emotionally together, financially together, and physically together. Nobody wants to go into a union with insecurities and baggage and problems and all the... nobody wants to live that way. I mean, a person with common sense wouldn't either, So I think it's so important to know your why. Why do you want to get married? What is marriage to you? Okay? Why is marriage so important to you? Do you value what marriage represents? Are you ready for the long haul? But you can't just get pretty and go down the aisle and say, I do. And then the minute hard times hit, you're ready to just call quits and fuck up your whole union. You can't do that. Even if you are afraid, that is why your partner is your partner. Because you go to your partner and say, I am afraid. I'm nervous about our union. Being with you sometimes makes me feel inadequate because you're so successful or you're so beautiful or whatever. And I really feel like if I can just find time to work on myself, then I won't feel this way. Because baby, I don't want to leave you. I want to work it out with you. I want to fix what's going on with me so I can be a better spouse to you. So I can be a better woman or a better husband to you. So allow me time to work on my issues. Because I'm telling you now, if that person really genuinely respects you and they truly, truly loves you and honor you, they will allow that to happen. But I will highly recommend that you work on those issues before you even get into the marriage. Because I'm telling you now, it is not fair to get into that marriage with your baggage, your drama, your insecurities, and your spiritual fucked up mindset. Okay, he may want to go to church and you don't, or maybe she wants to pray before you guys go to bed and you're like, fuck that, I just rather have a drink of whatever, you know. Like, it's not fair. So you do need somebody that you can reveal all of yourself to, and not just the pretty. Because trust me, mine has seen me with and without my wig, without my makeup. In fact, he hates when I wear makeup. So you need to get with somebody who actually really get you. And that is why I'm asking this question today. Why is marriage important to you? What is marriage? Do you value what marriage really means? Do you understand what marriage is? What is your why? So before you fall in love and just think, oh, yeah, babe, I love you. Let's get married. I want to spend forever with you. Are you sure? You have to be sure. I remember when we was getting married, they asked us that about 20 times. Are you guys sure? Because it's bigger than just, I love you. It's so much bigger than that. It's so much bigger than I love you. You have to be in it for the long haul. And if you are not, do not get married. Date. Okay, so guys, I'm G1 Writer. I am the author of I Love My Spouse Butts, and I'm a specialized relationship coach. And I really hope that you guys love this and can embrace this. And I cannot wait to see you guys during segment 2. We have so much to discuss. Stay tuned, though, guys. For those of you who love my tarot readings, feel free to book a personal reading at my website at g1insights.org. Or if you would just like some personal advice, one-on-one without the tarot cards, you can also go to my website and book a session with me as well. Okay? So I love you guys. Bye. Have a good one.